So we have an hour. We're starting a couple minutes late because Shoe got here late, but we have 3 awesome panelists.
Get a reputation for that.
If you were here last time, then you know what this is about. Alex is going to kick it off. He's the executive that runs online marketing at Facebook. So if you got questions about ad approvals, what's working, you know, how to scam the platform, how to cloak, he's the guy to ask about.
Expert on cloaking.
Zach Johnson's been doing online marketing for 10 years. You can see his blog at Zach Johnson. You're probably already one of his followers, and everyone knows who ShoeMoney is. You can see his ShoeMoney tools, read his guides, ShoeMoneyX.com. I think he's got 65,000 readers.
Yeah, it's getting there. It's getting up there.
So we're going to have 10 minutes from each panelist, and then we're going to have about 25 minutes for Q&A. So let's get that started. Alex, do you want to start?
Okay, sweet. So for those of you, how many were at Affiliate Summit West in Vegas as well? Okay, so for some of you guys, this is some of this stuff's going to be new. Firstly, you are a really important audience for Facebook. We've got a great group of people at the front here. We've got 5, 6 people here at the front and me along as well to answer any questions you have from our sales team, from our account management team, from compliance. We're very open to listening to you guys and eating our own dog food from what we recommend to our clients, which is talk to your customers and hear what people have got to say about your product. So we really want to hear from you, your feedback on what we're doing. And we had a great time at the Meat Market earlier this week, or yesterday, listening to what you guys have to say to us. And what I wanted to do was answer a lot of the questions that we've been hearing at the Meat Market, and then also hopefully answer some of the questions that we heard at the previous Meat Market back in Affiliate Summit West and tell you the progress that we've made towards those complaints and suggestions that you guys had for us. So realistically, there are 2 things I want to talk about in my sort of little intro section. Number 1, update on that Meat Market, those questions that you had. And then number 2, talk a little bit about demand generation, which is where we really feel that the Facebook ad platform plays extremely strongly. So the big question that came out of the Meat Market last time, and to some extent has come out of this one as well, is why do you make it so hard to spend money? We certainly have had a few questions over the last year or so about various tools that we have available. And the opening comment that I want to make is, you know, we're only a year and a half old as an advertising platform. We celebrated 2 weeks ago the 2-year anniversary of our first prototype for our self-service advertising product. And if you think back to what all the different paid search tools were like in 2002, 2003, we're kind of at that same age of development, and we're trying to move really, really rapidly, and I hope that we're going to catch up to your expectations fast. But in that period when things aren't perhaps as smooth as they could be, that's the period that people like you can find awesome opportunities and inefficiencies in the market that you can capitalize on and make a significant amount of revenue. And there are plenty of people in this room who are doing that already, to the tune of tens of thousands or even 100,000 a day in spend. So first thing that we had a lot of feedback on was we need an API, we need bulk upload tools to enable you guys to do testing at scale. That was the feedback back in Affiliate Summit West in Vegas, and we said that we were going to try and make progress on that within a year, have something for you guys. And so what we've got at the moment is we have some beta testers. Some of you guys in the room are on it, and we're testing out a bulk upload tool at the moment, which hopefully will be available for the rest of you guys sometime in the next year or so. So things are beginning to progress on giving you tools to do things at bulk and do things at scale. But we're only going to make it available to people who are spending a reasonable amount of money, maybe $1,000 a day or whatever, and also, more importantly, are delivering quality ad experiences to our users. Because you'll hear this theme a lot from me, we are not going to enable bad experiences for our users, and we're going to work to track them down and switch them off if they're happening. The other thing we heard was rapid policy changes. Back in Affiliate Summit West, we were changing policy, at least as far as you guys were telling us, it felt like every couple of weeks. First, that you were allowed to do muffin top. Then you weren't allowed to have muffin top pictures, but you could still do dieting. Then you weren't allowed to dieting. Then you could do acai berry, but we can't do acai berry. And then you were allowed to do rebilling. And we were changing it every couple of weeks, the different terms and conditions. So something that we definitely took away was to be more measured in our approach to giving terms and conditions that you guys have to adhere to use our platform. So since Affiliate Summit West, we've only made one major change, and that was around rebilling. We're not going to allow deceptive rebilling of our users. And if you go to our policy documents, you can see there exactly what we allow. And that goes on to the other point that we're starting to still hear. So we have harsh policies. Something that all of you guys were saying to us at the Meat Market is the line where we draw our policies is probably further along than most of the other self-service web marketing tools out there. The reason for that is that Facebook really needs the trust of our user base. We are really, really focused on becoming the #1 social network in the world, staying there, and really owning the market globally for social networking. And to do that, you need to have users' trust. And we know that when users have a bad experience on our site, they become less active on our site. We know that when we give users bad ads, we know what the experience detriment is for them and how quickly they leave our site if we make the experience bad. So we're very, very focused on the user experience, and the priority for Facebook will remain user experience, will remain growth, will remain looking after our users and treating them well. And as such, we are going to have harsher policies than the other advertising networks pretty much across the board. But we're young, so there's quite a few people in this room that's still getting past those with cloaking. So then the last thing that we've been hearing a lot, and we still hear, is inconsistency. And I have to admit that of all the feedback that we've had of things that we need to do, that's probably the fairest. We're definitely in a situation where determining whether or not a landing page for a rebilling campaign is actually deceitful is probably slightly gray. So if you're one step short of the line or you're one step across the line, it's going to be really easy for us. If it's 20 pages below the fold, in gray, on a gray background, probably not going to let it through. If it's above the fold, bolded and in 20 points, that you're going to be doing rebilling, we will let it through. But when you're playing right around that borderline, you've got to expect that with 20 people doing ad review, looking at your ads, we're going to have some inconsistency. So if you're going to butt up against our line of what we allow and what we don't allow, we're probably going to be inconsistent, and we will be for a little while. That being said, I had dinner the other day with the head of engineering for the ads product, and we were talking about what the next things that we really care about on the ad products are. And it's a big challenge scaling up to 250 million people actively using the site, half of them using it every single day, and managing the ad serving for that. I mean, plenty of you guys know about click serving, impression serving. Imagine trying to do a reasonable number of page views per visitor at 125 million actives in a given day, with only a few hundred employees. We're not yet that big. So we've been really focused on scaling up to handle the user growth. What we now need to do is handle the advertiser growth, allow you guys to be uploading ads at scale, and ensure that our system can take that on board. And so there's definite focus on that, and a big chunk of that is the ad review. I can tell you right now, I would like to give every one of you the ability to bulk upload ads to Facebook. That would make me quite happy. But I also know if we did that, the user experience would go down so far, so fast, that we would have a very large problem with user engagement. So what we need to do is get to the place where we can do consistent ad review, we can do scaled ad review in a more computer-based review system. So that's an area of focus for us, and I'm hoping that you're going to see that improve over the next year. But I definitely admit that you will continue to see inconsistency if, as you have every right to do, you guys are butting up against the line and trying to optimize for the best possible return. So that, I hope, answers a lot of the questions that you guys have. But if I haven't answered them, please, we're going to have Q&A for plenty of this session. If we don't answer it in this session, we've got great people here who can answer your questions just in the second row on the right-hand side. So please, come up to me afterwards, come up to them. We're going to be here for the rest of the summit, and we really want to talk to you, hear your feedback. So the last thing I wanted to talk about quickly, got a few minutes left, is demand generation. Where Facebook thinks that we play incredibly strongly is in helping brands build awareness, developing intention. So if you think about the marketing funnel, there's like $500 billion a year being spent in marketing. And of that $500 billion, maybe $100 billion is being spent on direct response stuff at the bottom of the funnel. And $400 billion is being spent up here, building awareness, building intention. Decision action is a very small amount of the marketing budget out there. And today, very little of that awareness generation, that intention generation, has transitioned online. And you guys are almost certainly, when this starts to really flood online, going to be amongst the people who capitalize on this really well. And our goal as a company is to bring demand generation online. It's to do the same for demand generation, democratizing that, making that available for small businesses on a self-service basis, making it available for medium-sized businesses. We want to do that in a big way for the internet and hopefully partner with you guys in doing that. So what I'd say to you and challenge you to do, and I also challenged you in Vegas to do this as well, is think like some of the affiliates who've graduated onto the next big thing. If you look at some of the well-known people in affiliates, these guys sitting to my right, if you look at, folks like even Scott Richter, they're building brands now. The people who used to make the millions and millions of dollars doing spam 8 years ago, 10 years ago, are moving on to build legitimate companies and build brands and build large businesses based on a profile and a brand that they've developed over years. If you can think about how you can do that, look at what Scott Jangro does with Costumesy, which in and of itself made the ComScore list of hot websites back last October as a destination for costumes, not even a pure affiliate site, based on direct traffic, based on engagement. If you guys can think about developing your brands and can use all of your skills for direct response to also develop brands through the Facebook platform, in my opinion, but also through MySpace, MyAds, also through AdSense, also through those other places, maybe you can build a returning profit that comes back as an annuity again and again and again, like ShoeMoney's done with his blog, like Zach's done with his blog, and like other people are doing with their new tools systems. So please, you guys are some of the best marketers in the world. You're very metrics driven, you're very direct response driven, and that's great. One of the things I'd ask from you is try and push the boundaries on how awareness generation can be done in the same way as direct response. And very, very happy to be here. Any questions you have, really, really keen to hear them. We've got the team here. If we don't answer them at this panel, then grab us afterwards. Thank you.
So how many of the affiliates here are doing rebills? Or no one wants to admit that they're doing that? Or how about products like dating? If you're doing that, raise your hand. How about local, small business? Okay, how about large advertisers, big brands? Okay, that's a pretty good mix, actually.
Yeah, broader than we thought.
So how much interest is there for people who want to hear about how you can integrate pages with the self-serve platform? Inline fanning, other ways to do the viral loop besides just getting someone to a landing page? Okay, that's pretty good then.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go next, Jeremy?
Sure. So, yeah, my name is Jeremy Schoemaker. I have a blog at ShoeMoney.com. I've had a real love and hate relationship with Facebook, and I'm not throwing Alex under the bus or anything, but I think I've experienced a lot of frustrations, as probably a lot of you guys have. I actually started writing about the opportunity available in the local space. I wrote a whole guide to local affiliate marketing, and I see many of you out here have actually come up to me even since Vegas and said you've completely started a business with it and all that, and I think it's awesome. And the opportunity there is amazing. And like Alex said, because there is some frustration in uploading the ads, it's definitely, what's referred to as a dip. A lot of people won't follow through it, and optimize their ads and keep at it because they get denied. And right now we have a product, it's ShoeMoney Tools. It's a marketing tool suite, but our competitors are like the Google Money Trees of the world and all these scammers who have these huge budgets to spend because they're just complete scammers, and it's very hard for us to compete with them, and it's actually virtually impossible for me to advertise our product in Facebook just because of the association in that space. Even though it is a rebill, but it's a one-click cancel kind of thing. It's not, to call some call center or anything like that. So, but then we also work with local physical trainers and stuff like that, which is also in kind of the weight loss category, which has a little trouble getting through as well. But the opportunity there, because it is not easy, like it's not easy, is just enormous. And if you can keep at it, be in contact with the Facebook team and let them know where your frustrations are and whatnot. You won't ever work with any advertising company ever. I remember with Google in 2001, 2002 when they launched, they had quite the problems as well. And they were completely not receptive if you were like, hey, I'm trying to do this, and you get the auto response and go read the FAQ, where with these guys, they're actually willing to like almost sit down, look at your campaign, look at what you're doing, make suggestions, help you get things approved, if what you're doing is legitimate and stuff like that. So I would just say to everyone in here, if you're thinking about doing it on Facebook, the opportunity is just enormous if you just need to keep at it and just work through the frustrations, because a lot of people just give up and then not go to it. If I can do it and work through the frustrations doing 7 other companies, this is basically my hobby, is I love to just generate revenue with pay-per-click and arbitrage and all of that kind of stuff. But we work with local businesses, and it's more just to do case studies for our blog. We don't do it to make money, but as I show in the case studies, like the opportunity there is enormous for people to do. And we have businesses contact us every day, like, will you manage it for us? So I know that there's people out there looking for people to do this for them. So I think there's a huge opportunity out there, and I think a big takeaway for people out there, if you're not doing it, or maybe you've done it and you're a little bit frustrated, just like they're here, be in contact with them, and just keep at it.
Great, thank you. The first guys who are on the scene, anytime there's a new platform, are always the folks who are, I won't say they're spammers necessarily, but they're the ones who are the most opportunistic, right? And then you'll start to see the larger brands, you'll start to see the mass market start to get advertising in there. And I remember a couple of years ago when you guys first launched, it was just massive crush in IQ, and you've got 5 friends in Nebraska, right? And
I wonder who was doing that.
Okay, so I'll admit, right, in all honesty, we were doing up to 10,000 leads a day on Crush, and Paul Jeffries and the other guys on the platform team were getting mad at us, but that's because it was the Wild West and there really weren't rules in place. And we were doing this on the third-party platform, and self-serve had different rules, and the direct ad sales guys had different rules, and there was no consistent policy, really, because it was changing every day, and we weren't really sure what was going on. But what was good about that was how receptive Facebook was to work with us. They brought people to the conferences. It's true, they don't have the hundreds or thousands of staff that you would find at another search engine, but they have been willing to work with us. And as you get more sophistication in place in all the targeting, even allowing us to do things that would technically be against the terms of service, like creating scripts that will automatically post ads or read back data, but doing it in a good way, not auto-generating a bunch of fake accounts. They've been really good. So I definitely would encourage you guys to, if you have any questions, to meet the Facebook guys up here in front. And if you're doing local especially, you should check out ShoeMoney's local affiliate marketing guys, right? Just because right now, most of the ads that are serving on Facebook, I would think, are not even geo-targeted or demo-targeted. A lot of people are just country targeting, right? But if you're targeting down to people who are dentists or cosmetic surgeons or any kind of local business, you're going to be able to dominate that. We have a massage therapist in Boulder, and she's probably the most well-known massage therapist in Boulder because we're able to buy traffic. It probably backs out to about a 15-cent CPM. Amazing, right? And everyone's coming up to her saying, wow, how did you get onto Facebook? I see you on Facebook all the time, right? And people have made their businesses who otherwise would have gone out of business because they've been using Facebook, in combination with Google, in combination with using their pages, in combination with templatized WordPress blogs, and so forth. So there is a huge opportunity out there, and it's way beyond doing just Asai or Google Cache or that kind of stuff. And you can feel good about that, which is, I think, one of the neat things that's going to come in affiliate marketing when you have local lead gen, and then you can tie it in with social, which is social is about being local. All right, Zach.
My name is Zach Johnson. I also blog about Facebook ads at my blog at zachjohnson.com. And Shoe talked a lot about local advertising, but what I really focus on is CPA marketing, not so much localized, but within the country and throughout the whole world. So I'm going to kind of go through a few ideas on how you can make money on Facebook. And for those of you who are really confused and tried Facebook and got discouraged right away, it's really like a game where you got to put a lot of effort in and you got to master the system, because so many people are terrified of losing money so fast, but at the same time you could be making it. You just got to get past that system. So a lot of the CPA offers that are doing really well all over the place is dating, and you can see them if you're obviously single and interested in a certain gender or whatever. So the best way to see what type of advertisements are out there and working is to set up accounts and try and, if you're going to make an account that's for dating advertising, why not create a new account for the opposite sex and say that you're single, so you'll see all the competition out there. So once you have an idea of what's out there, look at the ad copy, set up multiple images and everything and see what's working. So take the best ones and then close out the crappy ones. You'll be able to save money while getting a lower click-through rate, click-through cost, higher click-through rate. A few other things are the geo-targeting. That pretty much leaves everything open by geographic data, but something new added to the system is being able to target by birthday, and that's pretty much open and brand new to everybody. So if you can think of something new that you can possibly, if you're selling flowers or birthday cards or whatever, right then you're targeted. When it's someone's birthday, your ad is going to show. So you're going to get a very high click-through rate, which will then give you pretty much low cost on per click. So you can be getting traffic for 1 to 2 cents per click if you tweak that ad enough.
Yep.
A few other things to look at is starting your campaigns out in a CPC format, and then once you find out what's working, move them down to a CPM basis, and you can even cut your costs in half, because now that you're paying on CPM, you're not really having to worry about click-through rate, but you've already moved over everything that you know is getting a high click-through rate, so you're going to be paying less for more volume. So those are just a few ideas. I'm sure more things will come up during Q&A, but those are just a few quick points that I thought of.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Zach Johnson. All right. Is this mic working? Can we turn this mic on? Hello? Who's our AV guy?
He's doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, so the goal is primarily, this isn't to be an infomercial. We've done the intro, but, ask us questions.
If you have questions, I'm going to walk around and we'll go pick them one at a time.
You have to talk loud for a little
You know
bit.
what? Why don't you just stand up and yell, and we'll repeat the question up front.
He's actually doing it.
I can try to speak loudly. Alex, the question is directed to you. I've been a direct marketer for over 20 years, and I'm just going to start with Facebook. And I apologize that I don't know a lot about it, except from the headlines that I read. My question to you is, I know that you're a private company. We see the potential market capitalization with Microsoft and some of the other ventures that you've had. My question really is, do you have any disclosure of quarterly revenue? I'm just trying to get a basis of how big it is compared to the peanut of Google.
So we don't disclose revenue. We're a private company, and that's the main advantage, that we don't have to tell our competitors what we make.
Yes.
The one thing that Mark has said publicly and Cheryl has said publicly is that revenue will grow 70% year on year to something around 70% year on year is what they've said publicly, and those numbers are circulating around. We are making hundreds of millions of dollars a year, and we're growing nicely.
So then I can assume that it's at least 300 million or 400 million.
I'm not gonna comment.
I'm
You
not
can
asking you for a fact.
you can follow up, but there's various sources.
Thank you.
We're doing well.
I suspect you'll see it grow much faster than 70% over the next couple years anyway. The more you guys dial it in.
I feel I think everyone in this room should at least be trying Facebook ads for a reason. I've been doing it for 10 years, not 20. But this is very much like the early days of search engine marketing. And there are some people doing very well and a lot of people doing really badly. And you guys have the ability to be the people doing really well.
You said a lot of people doing badly. What are some of the common mistakes a lot of beginners make when they're kind of coming over from search engines to Facebook?
You have your data. Like if you're already doing search stuff, you already know like kind of your demographic to some extent. You know keywords, interests, stuff like that. A lot of people that I see that make the mistake just go full bore. Like set a budget of like $500. Bid at like 75 cents, and just go at it. You should really start really slowly and, just target a small city to start with, or just go to Google Trends and find out what city is looking for your keyword, and then, target that specific city because that'll give you a good segment. And then target, if you have other demographics, interests, stuff like that, the more you can drill that down and start slowly and work your way up, the better. I think that's the single biggest mistake that I see people doing, because I've known people that have blown thousands of dollars in a half hour. Me, actually. So, and that sucks. That absolutely sucks. But that was my fault because I had it set up wrong. But there is inventory on Facebook. You can go through cash very, very fast. So you definitely want to have your ducks in order. Start slow. Set a small budget cap to start.
Zach, any tips?
Yeah, Shue said it's total money management because you'll go through thousands of dollars just within an hour or two. And look at the suggested bid rate that Facebook gives you. You actually don't need to be anywhere near that range. You can go below that. And either way, you're going to be spending the same amount of money because once your ads get approved, you can push that volume so much more. You're going to be spending thousands of dollars a day. And back to the ad copy, when people come to Facebook and they put something in, they get denied and they have no idea why, so they just say, screw this, I have no idea what's going on. They're not getting support from Facebook, so they're pretty much left on their own until they start spending money and figure out the system and get in touch with Facebook. So upload multiple ad copies. Once they get denied, re-upload them again and just keep doing the process until something gets through and you'll learn the system. Just make sure you watch your daily budgets.
Yeah. That's a really good point. So actually on that denial point, this community, affiliates, you have an email address you can contact, affiliate@facebook.com, which is a special dedicated queue for you guys and has a 24-hour turnaround on response. So we are very keen for you to have contact with us. So if you get started, you find your ads are being denied, email us. We'll get back to you. Second point, we are not Google, right? So the keywords in our system do not mean the same thing. And that's really the biggest mistake that I see people making when I'm getting them started. If you're going to run, right, advertising, target against Hannah Montana tickets in the city that she's playing next for StubHub or Ticketmaster, whoever's paying you the biggest commission. Like, one of the things I think is being done very badly right now is stuff like that. I've seen some people doing great things like, hey, you're interested in the UK? Sign up for my newsletter to hear about flights to the UK under 80 bucks or under $100. Of course, I click through, I sign up to that newsletter, and I get spammed. But I have actually got a very cheap flight to the UK out of it, so it worked out all right. I can put up with spam for cheap flights. But, you know, look at that. People are not doing that at scale, saying, you love Hannah Montana, she's coming to play in your city, boom. Here's an ad for it, get those tickets on StubHub and get a great commission. Awesome opportunity. And then the last one, which I'll echo again, ad copy. Ad copy is very important on Facebook because you've got your image and you've got your text. You need to rotate that image. You need the image to be eye-catching so that people are going, drawn away. Because you've got to compete with the most interesting content they've got, what their friend is doing today. So you need that ad copy to draw people's eye, that image. And you need to rotate that every 2 weeks because it gets stale, just like creative elsewhere. And it's fine. Do your logo with a red background, then a blue background, then a green background, then an orange background, then back to a red background, and you're fine. You know, every 8 weeks cycle it. But you've got to cycle your creative in terms of image, and then you've got to make that copy compelling, and in often cases, brief, to make people want to click through on your ad. So draw the eye, really, really crucial. We're not Google, different keywords meaning, and if you've got a problem with denials, affiliate@facebook.com.
Back there?
Would you have some recommendations on actually picking keywords? Because, like, I come obviously from a search background, and I find the transition to picking the right keywords for Facebook challenging because there's no, like, theming, you know? For example, in AdWords, an ad group in Google, you'll pick, let's say, cars, used cars, and whatever, and somebody knows that you're a car dealer. But you do that on Google, and then you've got on Facebook, you've got car enthusiasts, and you've got racing enthusiasts, and it's really not clear to me what the process should be like for Facebook for keyword research.
So I can kind of reiterate what I said over there. I mean, the only thing, and I have a pretty big search background as well, I come from that world before, actually the affiliate space even, is just using that for targeting, you know, and using like Google Trends and stuff like that to pick out, you know, it's amazing to me, like Omaha Steaks, like I can tell you that Philadelphia is the #1 consumer of Omaha Steaks, you know, like by a huge margin. So I don't know why, but, you know, so throwing offers to them and targeting males, you know, and blah, 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 Omaha Steaks will give you their demographics, right? So you can zero it in, it's a no-brainer. And they pay like $25 an order. So commission on most networks. So sometimes it goes up to $50 on holidays. So I mean, that's, you know, just things like that. So what I do is I take keyword lists, and then if we have something, a certain keyword that's converting really well, then I'll look and see where people are searching for that keyword and then use that and target that area. But I never really use the actual keywords, much like Alex said, don't actually use the keywords in like interest and stuff like that. But I mean, you have to think like, it's more interest, I mean, you can target people that like barbecue, you know, I mean, or stuff like that. It would be much more effective.
People who like barbecue tend to be Republican, actually, in terms of like... So that's actually one of the things that's also interesting about our keyword lists. We have a tool under reports that allows you to see the demographics of people who have been clicking on your ads and the click-through rate by demographic. So if you're running campaigns on our site, you've not used that tool, please use it. Because sometimes the keywords are non sequiturs. Like, you know, you can buy keyword MySpace on Google and get a shed load of conversions for eBay. No idea why, but it works. So there are certain keywords that you know, it is a little bit of a non sequitur. So often again, like ShoeMoney said, in terms of narrowing down, broadening out, I like to see someone maybe pick a city where they think something's going to be huge, buy broad, then use that stats report to see which keywords mattered, and then zoom in on those keywords. So that sometimes works. There's a few things that you can do like that to explore it. Focus on what's working, not necessarily so hard on why. So if you're into music, try a few range of music keywords and then just see which one starts to work.
So you could buy like traffic from Philadelphia, and then you're saying the Facebook analytics would tell you what keywords were relevant to that, or just the demographic?
It'll tell you the keywords that have the highest click-through rate within that, and also the gender and the age and all that.
I think
kind of
that's
stuff.
a great topic to like even expound on is that a lot of people don't use their, like if when I target Philadelphia, let's say I don't do male, female, anything like that, it's a small enough buy, so, but then actually use the Facebook reporting, and it actually shows you what age group is clicking on the ads, if they're male or female, blah, 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 and then you just narrow it down to who's only clicking on it, because why are you advertising to people who aren't? It's just raising your bid and it's not delivering you, so. I don't know if that's what you were trying to allude to, but a lot of people don't use those reports, and you can actually even take those and implement them in other campaigns and other stuff as well. It's great data.
Yeah, another quick thing to increase conversions and click-through rates, if you're targeting, let's say for instance you're targeting music, and then you start putting a bunch of different names of brand music groups inside the keywords group, you're then targeting the same ad copy to every single one of those, but instead you should be creating small ad groups. Say if you just wanted to target to Hannah Montana and you had an ad saying come join Rhapsody or something, instead make an ad copy that shows a Hannah Montana CD and then only target to Hannah Montana. You don't want to just show a Rhapsody logo and say do you like music, and then target to everybody that likes Rolling Stones or Hannah Montana or whatever. So it's getting tighter into that niche, because you're only going to be showing your ad to people that are actually interested in seeing that, and so it's going to target their eyes more to that area, and they're going to click it, which will get you a lower click rate.
Again, you're the community that can do this, right? Ticketmaster isn't going to come in and do this themselves and throw the effort and resource at it. You guys have a year, 2 years to make hay while the sun shines on this one. If you go in and you're the one that blows that particular opportunity out, there's a lot more besides.
Yeah, because eventually, you will have huge companies coming in and buying all this inventory. It's too hard for them right now. Like, they don't want to go through all this approval stuff and blah, 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 blah. It's just too hard for them, or they'll just do, the big ad homepage buys or stuff like that. But like right now, it is like Google 2001 or MSN 2004 when they launched their thing or whatever. It's actually, it's extremely, can be very, very profitable, if you find your angle, so. It's just like, I hope that I'm getting through to everyone out there, like you should be doing it right now. just start really small and, and work your way up, because the opportunity is enormous right now.
And if you optimize to your CTR, you can often get 1 cent, 2 cent clicks. I remember last weekend when Facebook had that DOS attack, we spent, I think, $550 and we generated $9,000 in revenue. And I think a lot of that was because our stuff just kept getting served and we didn't get impressions that were counted. But even it showed 103% CTR. It was amazing.
We stayed up with the denial of service though. We did actually stay up. That was pretty impressive from the team. We're still a really small company. We don't have a lot of data centers, and that was a really solid denial of service attack, and the team did an amazing job. But yeah, we didn't charge some advertisers for some stuff.
But compared to Google, we find that the cost per click on Facebook might be a quarter or maybe even a fifth, depending on what the other keyword you're going after, right? You might be paying $1.50 on certain keywords on Google, but paying 15 or 20 cents, or if it's a social kind of thing, like 3 or 4 cents, if you maintain a great CTR. And back to what Zach was saying, initially you start out by optimizing to a CPC by figuring out how much you have to bid at what CTR to be able to get the traffic, and then you just switch over to CPM bidding, and you get that all day long. And if you're quick, and affiliate marketing is all about jumping on trends as they happen, like remember when Michael Jackson died? We had ads up within half an hour of when he died saying the king is dead, or the king's grand exit. Is he really dead? And you have pictures. You optimize the pictures. And the main thing is, unlike the headline like you find in Google AdWords, you can optimize pictures and go through different variations. Now it's tedious now, but that's actually to your advantage, because like what Shue was saying, the big companies, they don't have the APIs, they don't have all this stuff, so you're going to manually have to create dozens, if not potentially hundreds of ads, and use sub-ID tracking to figure out the combinations of the headlines, the images, the targeting, the body copy. You might have 20 or 30 different variations that you're needing to test through, but I guarantee you when you do that kind of testing, you're going to find winners that are going to increase the CTR and just drive your average CPC to half of whatever it would have been before. And that means you'll be able to beat everyone else because you'll be able to find that particular niche that no one else can get. Oh, in the back there.
Yeah, two-part question actually. For Facebook, are you guys okay with direct linking? And for the affiliates, do you find better conversions through direct linking or the landing page?
Yeah, we're totally okay with direct linking.
I personally like to direct link, but in the past what happened was you'd have a campaign running and then say your network shuts down that offer, then you can't change the link and you're kind of screwed because you have spent all that time setting up the campaigns. But now they actually have an edit URL in the ad copy now that you can change that. So you can either direct link or set up a landing page and test which works better, but you can change the URL now once it's set up.
So there's a saying, it's called beating the S&P, which is kind of like all investment companies, that's what they tell you their goal is to beat the S&P average. So basically, like, direct linking is what I consider the S&P, right? And so I'm trying to beat that. So a lot of times people come to me like, what do you think about my landing page is converting at this? And I'm like, okay, well, where does it convert if you just send it direct? I don't know. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know, how you're doing. So what we always do is we direct link one, and then we try to fire up 4 or 5 landing pages and see, let them tell you. I mean, I think you can always beat direct linking. Well, not always, but in the local stuff, what we do is we collect stuff on our own things. But when we were doing the national-based offers, a lot of times pre-selling the offer, because a lot of landing pages on certain offers, they don't convert as well as if you tell the story or do a case study or whatever, and then show how to use it with an affiliate link or whatever, will convert much better. You hope. But you don't know unless you're actually trying to direct link as well. Because then you know what your benchmark is.
Yeah, that's such a great point. So it works across all the board, but you can optimize creative. We changed 1 word to 2 words in our creatives for advertiser acquisition for our site, and we got 50% higher performance from that one change, which is the biggest for 2-word change, that's the biggest I've seen in my career. And that's across, 100 million impressions a day that we're doing. It is incredible how much opportunity you can capture by actually optimizing the landing pages and creative to match the people that you're sending the traffic from with us. So totally agree. You can do direct linking, but you should be able to do better.
A third option is to send traffic to your own page, especially if you're a brand, if you're trying to develop a relationship with consumers, if it takes, the awareness, interest, desire, action funnel, if there's multiple steps involved and they're having to do some research. So we have World Wrestling Entertainment as a client, and the main fan page we have has over 300,000 fans. And I don't think Alex has talked about it yet, but if you send traffic to your own page, you can do inline fanning, right? So have you seen below the ad where it says become a fan? That is viral, and then other friends can see it and goes into the viral loop. And like, hey, I see that Zach became a fan of this page. I think I'm gonna go check it out too. And then all the friends of Zach now go check it out and so forth. And then you develop a great user base. If you don't have a great product or a strong brand, then that might not work for you, or if it's not your product directly. But if it is, then you definitely should take advantage of that, because that's very different than what you'll find with traditional PPC, as opposed to direct linking or just the landing page that you make that reviews all these other sites.
Plus another, I'm sorry, is just when you have fans, you can blast out to all of them, where you can't do that with just your friends. So if you have fans of, Dennis's BlitzLocal or something like that, then if he wants to send them an update through Facebook, he just can, and people, then can reshare that. So.
Yeah, so one of the things that you guys are probably familiar with is Twitter. And if you think about, the Twitter feed or whatever, if you've got a large page on Facebook and you get people to fan it, you can put messages into their news feed and you will get responses, you'll get commenting, you'll get feedback on it. We give you a post quality score, which actually Dennis has written a post about explaining it, which actually lets you see how good the quality of your post is against other people for generating feedback, returns to your Facebook page. And if you do inline fanning or inline event response, you can get page fans for the same price as a click, because people actually are fanning inline in the ad space. And a lot of our homepage inventory too, which some of you guys may want to capitalize on, and if you do, please talk to us. That takes a minimum buy, and it's a higher price. But you can do all kinds of things inline on the homepage, which just aren't available by other sites. And we're moving more and more to have these highly engaging ads where you can actually interact within the ad without even clicking through.
And a lot of the things that you would do in PPC or in SEO, you can also do on Facebook. We had a discussion in Seattle about this, where you can actually SEO your Facebook fan pages and try to get natural traffic. And having your page have things like autoresponders, I think John Chow talked about how you could use like Aweber and these other tools to create an autoresponder. So all the things you do typically on your own website, you could do inside the community of Facebook, but get that viral multiplier as well. Maybe if you want to talk about how you can SEO your particular pages.
I mean, yeah, so that was actually where I started off my career as an affiliate, was doing SEO for years. Although I know ShoeMoney has a point of view on whether you should say you're an SEO or not. But the point being, like, each of the pages, we're working with, you know, the search engines, as everyone does, to get them indexed. And you're sitting with a page on Facebook.com, a PageRank 9 homepage, and I've got my team working to penetrate that PageRank deep into the site. We get deep linking. We then, you know, are distributing it via our on-site linking pattern, and it's working very well. We're getting a very, very large amount of traffic from people search and the other kind of search that's going on. And a key area of focus for us on the SEO front now is celebrity search, pages search, local search, all that stuff that the Pages product does. So we're going to be leveraging the PageRank 9 homepage of Facebook and all the other very high PageRank pages to make relevant content rank. You know, our YouTube page, our Coldplay page, our Britney Spears page, and that will knock on to any pages that you create. So if you're updating it regularly, Google will be recrawling it regularly, and we'll be telling them to do so. If you're posting interesting content, if you've got good discussion board topics, you're going to get more and more traffic to that page on the site. So if there's a keyword you want to dominate and you want to rank for, there's a good chance that you can get somewhere with a Facebook page, but do take a close look at our guidelines for what you can actually choose to rank for.
And I really think the pages are so underrated, because that's like, as Alex said, you're paying the same price as you are for clicks, you know, to some extent, to get to your fan page. But those are people that you can remarket to because they're fans of this product. So even if they didn't respond the first time, you can hit them up again later. You know, it's not like a one-time deal, even though you're paying a one-time price.
Yeah.
So, I mean, imagine, like, I think somebody when we did the retreat thing, somebody said, like, if you're a fan of, like, Michael Jordan shoes or something like that, and they said, imagine every time he comes out with a shoe that you post about it in that fan, and you give it a Zappos affiliate link. Like, you would probably crush it, you know? I mean, there's so many opportunities out there with the fan pages and all that, and I mean, there's a reason why my URL is like /internet marketer, I think, and my wife, who's an anesthesiologist, is anesthesiologist. So, I mean, I think those will rank over time pretty well and be pretty valuable real estate.
Yeah, and we're really investing in that product. You can keep standing up. We're really investing in that product. So it will get better. So now is a good time to invest in it before other people are going to get on top of it.
Okay, we have 13 minutes left, so a few more questions. You?
Yeah, just real quick. I want to ask, I know on Facebook you guys can primarily just have the right side of Facebook advertising. However, isn't there just more than one way to advertise on Facebook via maybe third-party advertising, where you can advertise very well, with much better spots on these applications as well, and can be targeting, just as the August 3rd also changes. Are you kind of tripping monopoly to try to push them off of Facebook, or what's your purpose on that?
So I think that policy change is not about trying to push them off of Facebook. The reason we made the policy change is that apps were feeding users private data to fourth-party networks, and they were then using that. They then had the potential to use that to do other things that would be a serious violation for our users' privacy. And I can't go into more details than that, but we're not. Number one priority for us is to protect our users' privacy and protect the trust that the users have given us, and that's why those policy changes were put in place. You can still advertise, but you can't have access to information that our users don't want being leaked into that realm. As I say, I mean, we know what's being done with that data. You've already given us the data, and we're not leaking it into a fourth-party ad network that then has the potential to do other stuff with that data.
It's a great
In the
topic.
back, in the white.
The social-
I usually hand this over to you guys because you know the averages, and I can't say the averages.
I can say on our local stuff, we consider 0.1 to be really good because there's a huge margin there. But we've gotten fortunate recently to pick, like 0.26 on some of the ones, which on a CPC level will give you about 11 to 12 cents a click. And then if you convert it over to CPM, you can really draw really, really good, an amazing rate. It just depends on what you're doing, and it just depends on what you're doing and what niche you're in. I'm sorry?
I'm doing a lot of popcorn stuff and other affiliates in this.
So you're doing grant stuff? Is that what you're doing?
Aside, right? Okay. Diet. All right.
Did I say that?
Yes, you did.
No, I would say, I know Dennis probably has more experience, or Zach probably has more experience, doing the national things. But the ones that I've tried to do when it was kind of open, and I tried, some of the other stuff, I really wasn't having much luck, and I blew quite a bit of cash doing it. So I think they were probably better qualified to answer that.
I would love to see, Alex, the concept of a quality score, like you would see in Google, right? But the same thing where Google has quality score, or, quality index like Yahoo, it really just boils back to eCPM, right? Which is what you're paying per click times your CTR effectively, right? So they're going to, the engine, and Facebook does the same thing, they're going to show the ads that are going to make them the most money. So if I'm paying twice as much per click as ShoeMoney, but he's got twice the CTR, then from the standpoint of Facebook, from a money standpoint, that's going to be the same. And Google looks at eCPM, which is how much you're earning per 1,000 impressions, just like Facebook does. So all your ads are going to be scored that way. So look at the eCPM of each of your ads and look at it from Facebook's standpoint to see what's making them the most money. If you're getting traffic, figure out what that eCPM is that gives you enough traffic that it's profitable for you and giving you enough volume. And then try to increase your CTR without losing your conversion rate.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear you that you want to see like the features like that implemented. Personally, I hope it doesn't get any features like that ever, because it makes it much easier for competition to come in. I'm telling you, as soon as it's perfect, it's not going to be this easy to make money on Facebook. Because companies will come in with giant ad spends, and they'll be able to, they'll have all the perfect tools in order, and it'll be really easy for them just to blow you out of the water because they're doing it for branding and, stuff like that. So as much as I would like to see, some of that data as well, I sure as heck, I think it makes the competition that much more fierce, because it's one less obstacle that my competition has to go through that I'm willing to do right now. But most people aren't.
Yeah. So 2 points on what you said. Number one, anyone in this room who does international stuff, big opportunity there, right? With our growth, it's viral, therefore it's exponential. Therefore, the advertising market takes a time to catch up when we get to a high market share in a given market. Italy, our growth was like this, right? And so that put you in a position where the advertising market took a while to catch up behind it, and there was a big gap. That's still something of a gap there right now in terms of value of clicks versus volume of advertisers, which brought the prices way down. So bear that in mind. If you're doing international, you're doing the right thing. Work out which countries you can attack. Point two, on quality score, we do have some basic elements. And in all honesty, if you run maybe, I don't know, dating or grant ads or something like that with abusive rebilling policies that are cloaked from our reviewers, don't know, some people might be doing that, then you're in the situation that we will still get a lot of thumbs down from our users. They're actually pretty smart. And I've seen advertisers with a higher thumbs down rate than a click-through rate. And their accounts are burnt. So we aren't there yet, but we're definitely a lot better than we were in January. So you can screw us, but not as badly as in January, and we're coming for you.
So a lot of
one guy doing the clean stuff.
So I know a lot of guys are saying, hey, my ads are getting disapproved, so my strategy is I'm just going to upload 1,000 of the same ad, and I'll probably get like 5 or 6 through, right? Now, if I do that, we don't, but if I do that, is there something I need to worry about as an affiliate?
Yeah.
Am I going to get? Is there a certain number? Because
off.
affiliates are wondering, is there a certain number of disapprovals where I get shut down, or does?
There isn't officially now, but if you abuse the system, like you can work it out. If you upload 99 ads and 98 get disapproved and 1 gets approved, that was a mistake. That's not inconsistency, like some people have been telling me. If you abuse our system, we'll shut you down. We don't have any hard and fast rules, but if you really abuse us, we're not going to be okay with that. My God.
Zeusk.
So,
Oh, dear.
going back to the 99 ads and one getting disapproved, there are some ads that my company may or may not do in dating where some get approved, some do not get disapproved. And sometimes I do some pretty clean stuff for dating compared to some other people in the room. And sometimes I do get the feeling that I just get them all disapproved just because they're dating. Is there any way of having like a whitelisted photo saying, okay, this ad got approved. I just want to copy this photo into the new ad for my create somewhere ad, and I just want to change up the ad copy. So it's like meet singles near you, meet locals near you, or something such as that. Or say instead of join Zeus, join Zeus.com.
Yeah. Now, as I said to you before, and I can't give you like our product roadmap or whatever, we definitely have requests like that in with the engineering team, but also we have to scale. There's a lot of stuff we need to build, and we do not have even, like we have a couple of tens of engineers working on this entire product for all of brand advertisers. 83 of the top 100 advertisers in the US advertised this with us last year. So we've got a lot of people to support. That's a really good suggestion. What I can say is if you keep giving us quality ads, and if you keep getting really good user experiences and low thumbs down rates and all that kind of stuff that we look at, your ad review process is going to get much smoother. If you play on the borderline, your ad review process is going to remain painful.
Here in the fourth row.
We focus very heavily on the PPC advertising for that. I was just wondering if we could talk for a second about organic advertising on Facebook. For example, one of the groups I work with is a fraternity at NYU, and at the beginning of each semester is another opportunity for recruitment. So historically, we've used Facebook groups to represent the brush group that's normally coming from that semester. This year we talked about using a fan page, although it doesn't really make sense because it's not brand we're trying to build there. So just experiences you guys have had doing this at all, and any recommendations you might have?
I think absolutely you should use a fan page. Because, I mean, I don't have that much experience with groups, but, I mean, my experience with fan page has been phenomenal. I mean, it's a way to keep in contact with everyone. Like I said, it's like a newsletter that they're hosting for you, you know, that, and because everyone will keep joining it and everyone knows everyone, I mean, they will see everyone joining it and they'll want to join it. I made one for my Moline High School class of 1992, when I graduated high school, so how old I am. But, and it got like 180 members within a month because 5 people joined, and then everyone else is friends with them, and they're like, oh yeah, I graduated them too, and so, you know, just went on its own and spent no money. I mean, so those things are the best, in my opinion. I'm sure Alex can elaborate, but in my opinion, are the best things that will virally, organically grow without you spending any money.
Blue and white shirt in the back.
I have a question about the URL. By the way, I think there are other ways on Facebook that I'm But anyway, many URLs. Say I get not sure to speak. I have that many URL. I blow it up to many people, and Nike comes to me and says, "I want that page on." You tell me to look about the URL process. By the way, I think many URLs.
Nike will get it in about 5 minutes. It's not. I mean, if it's Nike and you're doing Jordan trainers, which or whatever, a trademark term for them, they will get it. I mean, it's the law, right? It's the trademark; they own it. Yeah. So, yeah, borderline stuff. That's interesting. I don't know what we're going to do with keywords like, you know, there are some interest. I could tell you some really good stories, but maybe after a drink tonight.
Do tell.
Black shirt in the back.
Problem is that we do not have any kind of arrangement with the lead gen networks, not to put up stuff that don't connect with either Facebook or Google doesn't like. And so you have, currently it's a bad arrangement because
Yep.
people who write ads are not necessarily
Yep.
the brightest.
They're young and inexperienced. Yeah, so that's an excellent point. We do have a relatively clear list of what's banned. You can go into our terms and run down. It's long too. It's not as long as Google's one, but some of the terms are more broad speaking, like deceptive recurring billing and so on. That actually covers a much broader range of things. We are talking to see if there's something we can do with some of the networks to say these are definitely pre-approved campaigns, so you've got no question that they'll be okay. We're trying to explore things like that. I think you're right. That's a problem in the industry right now, and we need to figure it out. I will take that away as a point. I don't have a good answer for you. I'm sorry.
One thing I tell people when they, and this is not obviously a Facebook thing, when they ask me like, do you think this would be okay to run? I always say, you know what? Google that and see like how much bad press there is about it. Like, are users having a horrible experience with it? And if not, then it's probably okay. Like if their cancellation policy is easy, if they've got get satisfaction and they're actually answering people and they answer the phone and, stuff like that. I mean, if you Google like Google Money Tree or something like that, it's 5 pages of people calling it the biggest ripoff ever. Obviously, the user experience. So I think that just doing a simple thing like that on an offer can help you and save you a lot of time.
All right, we have time for one more question. Black shirt here.
I don't have much experience on Facebook, but say I was doing an auto insurance ad on Facebook, and what's the difference between putting in keywords and not putting in keywords?
I'm not sure what you mean.
I mean, Facebook advertising, there's a keyword box. Do you have to put keywords in at all, or not?
It's not, okay, so, you want to take this? So it's more of like an interest, right? I mean, unless so like the keywords on Facebook are more interest. So like, your keywords, like maybe there's a bunch of different cars, it's not going to work on Facebook. You would more, Alex, you might.
I mean, you probably want to go for demographic targeting and say, people have saved $100 in your age group, and things like that. You don't want to go keyword targeting. Like, I may like Ford Mustangs. It doesn't necessarily mean that I've got one or I want auto insurance or whatever. So keywords are probably not right for you. Broad demographic targeting and regional targeting. People in Idaho have saved with Geico, blah, 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 is more the sort of stuff you want to do.
And I'm glad you asked that question because I didn't want to say it and we were out of time, but I think one of the biggest tips for people like doing ads, and Alex actually did this at an event at Facebook I went to, was actually having a call to action in your ad. I mean, I can't speak on, like, we've done insurance leads on Facebook. It works well. I mean, it's something that wasn't moving the needle for us enough that we could really pursue it and get on it, but it definitely makes money if you can stay on it and get the right, optimized ad and stuff like that.
Yeah, that is a great point to end on. Call to action. I can't believe I didn't say it. The number of people I've seen put ads on Facebook without a sign up now, or and okay, I'm probably going over what's not allowed to be grammatically in there, but without something that says do this, right? The change from advertise to create an ad had a huge impact to us. Things like that, call to action, massive. Getting the right image that draws the eye, massive. Those are the things that you've got to focus on, and rotate that image on a regular basis.
Zach, any final words?
Yeah. In addition to what was just said, you really want to interact with the user, because stop thinking as an internet marketer and start thinking as a Facebook user. You don't want to know that people are out there and they have every demographic about you. You don't want to see an ad that says you're 18 years old, male, went to this school, live in this state, and you're interested in whatever. You want to click on this offer because you're interested, not because you're scared to death if you don't. So try and think of it like that.
I thought one of the most brilliant ads I saw, and I'm not sure if it's allowed or not, but it was for the My Life thing, which I know has pretty slim margin. I think it pays like $1.10, or whatever. So I mean, it's a pretty slim margin to try to make that work. But I saw it was an attractive female, and it said like, remember me, and it said in parentheses 19 photos, right? That was the headline. And then in there it was like, let's reconnect, check, click here. And I was like, or not click here, but like go, friend me now or something like that to go there. And I was like, I bet the click-through on that was amazing. I see a couple people were there laughing, so you know what I'm talking about. But that that was like, I thought textbook, like, great way, you know, to get, I'm sure the click-through on that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's just being creative.
Yeah.
I mean, and like what Zach said, get out of your internet marketer head and like ask people who aren't internet marketers to look at your ads and what they think.
I so badly want to see this, and we do have to wrap up, and I should stop talking, but I so badly want to see this community also get those awesome targeted mindsets that are against direct response, and please find ways to do it. The fact that you guys can get any ROI in our system makes me really happy, and a lot of you are getting a lot of ROI in our system, because that's awesome for the future of our system, because we play further up the funnel. And if you guys can tweak your mindset to figure out how you can use all your optimization skills to build a brand on a micro-targeted basis, you guys have the potential to define the next wave of internet marketing. And someone will. And I'm hoping it's going to be one of the people in this room.
All right, Alex, Zach, ShoeMoney, thanks so much for your time. Let's give our panelists a round.